That's what they keep saying, and we're gonna get loud, but we're gonna get close. She's here and she's going strong. Maria Sanchez, this is a show, darling. She'll give you something to talk about. She's gonna help you figure it out. She'll give you something to talk about. So call in the show, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Welcome to the Maria Sanchez Show, and good afternoon. We are broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Ventura. We are located at kadytv.com every Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock, and we are, a project that unfolds. And today is going to be rock and roll because we have for the first time the most guests that we've scheduled for an hour of our program. So you'll see if they don't arrive on time, what happens in that regard. If they don't show up at all, what happens in that regard. So you'll just live television. What can we say? There's no safety net and there's no second take. So what you see is what you get. And please feel free to share it with your friends or colleagues or neighbors or family, because every episode obviously might have a particular value to you. We archive each episode after the end of the broadcast so that you can watch it in perpetuity. If there's anything that you would like us to know about or promote or stand behind or help you with involvement, on our website it says contact us, and that goes right to us, and then we can decide whether or not we've got the manpower, we've got the ability. But we certainly would like to have the information. We're also going to be keeping a community calendar that'll have the events that are going on throughout the county. So anything that you can help us by adding to that is a great asset as well. So we're going to begin our program today with Terri Taylor Gonzales. Terri's in studio with us. She represents Ivy Lawn Memorial Park. And Terri, welcome to the program. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
This is Terri's debut with kadytv.com in studio, but we have been at Ivy Lawn Memorial Park for the traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall. Is that how it's said?
Vietnam Wall.
Vietnam Wall, and we broadcast from there twice. We did the opening and the closing ceremonies, and Terri actually spoke with us about the POW bracelet that you wore during the Vietnam War. And then, as I don't know, luck would have it, I moved recently and I found mine.
Wow.
So I have to remember.
I was going to bring mine today, and I left it on my desk at work.
I have to remember, I'm going to try and bring it on Thursday. And you say, why Thursday? Well, Thursday's Veterans Day. I hope everyone knows that. And certainly a day to honor those who have served for us, that allow us to continue to have the freedom that we have in the greatest country in the world. But Thursdays also very special ceremonies at Ivy Lawn Memorial Park, which is why we have Terri Taylor Gonzales in studio with us. Not only that, we, kadytv.com, will be broadcasting from there, and we're going to share a little bit about that with you a little bit later. So I'm going to tease it like that. And Terri, again, welcome to the program. And why Ivy Lawn Memorial Park, you have a distinction here that's a little bit different than other resting places. And do you want to share what that is in terms of what your designation is?
Sure. Well, in the county, we are the only nonprofit endowment care cemetery. Nonprofit meaning that we don't have an owner per se. We're governed by a board of directors. I'm the president of the cemetery, but I answer to the board of directors. We've got 5 wonderful men that are on our board. And it was founded years ago by Ventura businessmen, and they eventually got their investment returned to them, and it goes on its own. But for every burial site that we sell and our marker, money is put away towards an endowment care. That principle will never be touched. But by law, we are allowed to collect or to take some of those funds and invest it back into the cemetery for maintenance.
So what, if somebody's familiar with a traditional cemetery, what does a nonprofit cemetery mean versus a for-profit cemetery?
Well, for profit, there's usually commissions. There are people that are making a beneficial finance arrangements with that, and we do not.
So that would suggest that your costs are lower then, because you don't have the overhead or you don't have the sales force that you're contributing to?
We try to stay competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly can't tell you what anyone else around us sells property for. Everything is different. We are one of the older cemeteries. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, but we could be higher on some things than others. But at the end of the day, you have to not look at the money part of it, but look at how the place is kept and what the traditions are behind the site itself. But the cemeteries that are all around Ventura County, they're all beautiful. And they all have their own significance for each family that chooses to go there and why they choose to go there.
Now, some of the differences in cemeteries, I think, are that they're religiously affiliated. Is that correct?
Some are. Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And yours is secular?
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything else that somebody should know about Ivy Lawn Memorial Park? I mean, acreage?
We're just shy of 60 acres. We're right off the 101 at Victoria, and we developed the rest of the cemetery. You know what? I should say the surrounding property that's around us is not available anymore. For, as far as the wall, live TV, folks. Well, there is a wall around the cemetery now, so we have developed it. But there are portions that are developed and platted for burial sites, but they can always, the certain areas have not been sold yet, and we are still working on a master plan to be inventive for different things. Cremation is more on the minds of many people today. There's still, Ventura County still pretty traditional for burial, but so, when I'm talking to the board about different things, I'm not looking at, what are we going to do next week? What are we going to do next year? I'm looking at, what are we going to do in 50 years? 50 years from now, how is this going to work in here? There's just different things that happen in our society today that you have to look out and be mindful of.
Now, are there any stories that are legends or urban myths or haunted things that people have heard in the past and that you'd like to dispel or prove?
The only thing, I don't know how urban legend it is that we have a mass grave for people that died in the St. Francis Dam disaster years ago. And
Wow.
it turns out that there's probably between 70 and 100 people that were unidentified, but they all have their own home in a certain area. And I won't say who, and he's passed away now, but I found out from talking to different sources, there was a funeral director who was a young child at the time that helped his father, who was a local funeral director at the time, helped him to bring the remains to the cemetery. And so as he grew older, he didn't know exactly where all the burial sites were, and they're not marked. And so if he had a family that had flowers, and the family was out of town, and they didn't necessarily want all the flowers to go back to their home or whatever, he would take the flowers, and he would come over to Ivy Lawn, and there was this one little area that he would have the flowers placed in. The groundsman would help him. And this was in honor of the people that died in St. Francis Dam. And so what happened is, over the years, people said, that's where all the people are that died at St. Francis Dam are buried.
All
All of them.
Yeah.
And so this one day I was trying to to figure this out, and I thought, I don't understand why, because it says all this, and it's like there was something in me that wouldn't let it go. And I was talking to him one day, and I said, hey, and he says, and then he was telling me this story. And
I mean, he's still alive.
He passed away a couple of years ago.
Okay, but you were able to chat with him.
Oh, absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely. He even came to me and said, would you be willing to put a monument out here to the people from St. Francis Dam? So I just said, we'll consider it. And that's really the big, people have all kinds of stories. We have the baby boomers that come in and say, when I was a kid and I was dating and there was no wall here, our dates used to come in here, and it's like, I don't want to hear it. But it's there's nothing ghosty stories to tell,
Well, because there's always those rumors about that with other places,
right.
Especially like in Los Angeles with celebrities and their ghosts that make appearances or apparitions or whatever. So.
I have to say I'm pretty spiritual in myself, and I'm not afraid. But one morning I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep, and I had a lot of work to do. 4 o'clock in the morning, I came to work. Locked myself in like I always do. I heard noises, creaks. Never again. I mean, I know it's crazy, but I wouldn't do it. So I'll be there at 6, but 4, no, it won't.
A little confirmation of that.
Yeah. So
we have in studio, our guest is Terri Taylor Gonzales. She's with Ivy Lawn Memorial Park. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to speak specifically about Thursday, which is day after tomorrow, Veterans Day, and the ceremonies. I was going to say festivities, not necessarily, but the ceremonies that are going to unfold and that KADYTV.com will be participating in. You're watching the Maria Sanchez Show right here on KADYTV.com. The Maria Sanchez Show is about the county, by the county, and for the county. Whether we are simulcasting live from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, checking in with the leaders of our communities, hearing from our elected officials, helping to promote public safety, preparedness, and wellness. We are here for the needs of Ventura County. The Maria Sanchez Show is also about entertainment and events, sharing information, creating awareness, and supporting those in need. Won't you join us as we rewrite the rules of local television on the Maria Sanchez Show at www.kadytv.com. Welcome back to the Maria Sanchez Show. We're live right here at kadytv.com as we are every Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock. And it's a joyride, so it's not that we're not prepared, and it's not that we don't have guests and segments and topics planned, but you never know. It was a couple times in the summer, we had guests come, and oh yeah, there was that little thing called the Ventura County Fair going on, and we're right off of California. The traffic was miserable, and a couple of our guests were like, I'm going to be there, I just don't know when. So we've learned from that there's certain times that we're going to schedule things around and whatever. But today we didn't have to worry about that. We have Terri Taylor Gonzales with us. She's with Ivy Lawn Memorial Park, and we're going to be there on Thursday morning starting at 10:30. And Terri, why don't you give us a rundown of what's happening on Veterans Day?
Well, we have our Veterans Day ceremonies beginning at 10:30, and they'll last till about noon, give or take 5-10 minutes. And we have our keynote speaker is going to be District Attorney Greg Totten. Now, I've never heard him speak, but I've heard he has a terrific Veterans Day address, so I'm looking forward to that. And Colonel George Compton, retired Veteran Services Officer for the County of Ventura, he's going to be our Master of Ceremonies. He's a terrific guy. We have, hopefully, Don Ansell will be back as Abraham Lincoln. Not confirmed yet, but we're hoping he does. He delivers this wonderful Gettysburg Address, and he is Abraham Lincoln. We've got a young group a Gottby Mime group that will be performing their pantomime, a little presentation to Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA, and a song called Honor to Serve. And I've seen this on a CD of theirs, and it's just really a good presentation. We've got the First Memorial Honors Detail. This is a group of veterans that give of their time to provide military honors at funerals when the active duty military cannot show. And so they're going to be doing the rifle salute. And one of their young people is Jennifer Vasquez, who you met when we had the moving wall. She's going to be playing taps again. And we have the Ventura Military Explorers will be, when it comes time, we have the beautiful military flag display, and they'll be raising the flags for us. And then we have about 18 color guard units. Veterans Day is massing of the colors is what we're doing, where the different fraternal and military organizations come in and they march in with their colors. They're announced, and they march across in front of the crowd.
You said 18 units?
I believe we have 18 Boy Scouts.
That's a lot.
American Heritage girls, and yeah, and it's really neat. It's really neat to see the little ones too. We usually have them kind of sit off a little to the side, but the color guard units will march in front of the crowd and then come back and actually face the crowd and see it, so that they can be seen. And most of them will wear their uniforms. Some of them, that have uniforms will wear them, and there's a lot of patriotic pride. It's a very wonderful day. And towards the end, we've got the Pacific Coast Highlander Pipe Band that comes in and plays. So you've got your there's this moment, where you got your bagpipers, and then the rifle salute, and the taps go, and the Smitty's White Doves, a piece of from Oxnard, the doves, come up and around the crowd and swirl around. It's just like you hear the crowd go, oh.
Do the doves return, or they are just let free?
Oh no, they're his babies.
So they come back to him.
They go back to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're trained.
That's another show for you.
Yeah. Say.
Oh yeah, they're trained. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So they're not homing pigeons, but they're doves.
They're white doves.
Wow. And then why does Ivy Lawn do something like this? Based on the Traveling Vietnam Wall, and then now this, obviously patriotism has something to do with your mission statement. Is it because of our bases, or?
I can't tell you why it originally was started. I'm certainly thrilled. I don't know who first approached Ivy Lawn. I know that for years they used to have these little ceremonies. I've been at Ivy Lawn 16 years, and the first few years I was there, the people were actually sitting in chairs out in front of our mausoleum, where when you come on Thursday, you'll probably be standing there. Your back will be to the crowd.
I was just going to show you that we were showing some of the pictures that you sent about the flags.
Oh, yes, that's the Avenue of Flags.
The Avenue of Flags. And if we could show some more of those so that Terri can reference them in terms of...
That's our military flags. I love those flags. And those have all the branches of the military. I took that this morning with the sun shining through a flag. These are just flags that the flags went up Saturday morning. There's about 400 to 500 that are flying right now throughout the park. And there's 1,080. We put number 1,081 this morning of flags that are in the inventory. And although we don't have enough poles and enough spots to fly them all, so between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, we trade off. But we had Sea Cadets, Boy Scouts, different volunteers from the community come out, and they'll fly all week long until this Saturday. Now on the binding of each flag, see, this isn't just it's my passion. On the binding of each flag, it's not just that we have a bunch of flags and we're putting them up. Those were the actual casket flags that the veterans' families were presented at the time of the veteran's death, and they generously given these treasures back. So on the binding of each flag is the name of the veteran, the branch of the military they were in, their year of birth and year of death.
Oh my goodness!
And so that's why when you fly through these, and these are 5 by 9.5 foot flags. They're huge.
Why would somebody give that back? I agree with you that it's selfless and generous, which is redundant, but I would think that they would want to hold on to that because that's a remembrance of their loved one.
It is, but then there are people that have said, there are people that want to be buried at Ivy Lawn because of these flags. And they say, I want my flag flying there.
I see.
And
The flag of my loved one flying there. Because you only get those flags if somebody passed away.
They say, when I pass away, I want my flag there. I mean, the veterans have said that.
I see. So the family did hold it, and then when that person passed away, because the veteran doesn't...
No. The family got it when the person died.
Okay.
But they said before they died, when I die and you get my flag, I want my flag to be flying there.
I see. Okay.
And but I always make sure, when the family comes in, because they bring them in to us, I say, are you sure you're ready to part with this? Because once you part with it, and they're like, oh yeah, we like this. It's just something in your soul, and when you're ready for it, you're ready for it. Some give it right away. Some they have to hold it for a while, but it's selfless.
We're honoring the men and women that have served our country, so
Correct.
We're not honoring necessarily the ones that are killed in action.
Correct.
Absolutely. Or perished while they're serving.
Absolutely.
So that's why I was a little confused with that. Well, if they got a flag, maybe the flag was given to them for their service? No, it's only given to them when they have their funeral.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, they're gone.
Right.
But what a testament to them.
Right.
What a treasure. And the thing is that what I'd also like to mention is that in my family, now I'm a crier. I have a brother-in-law Tech Sergeant James Nelson of the United States Air Force. I'm not going to say where he is for privacy for his family protection, but he's currently deployed. And God willing, everything goes right, he'll be home the end of the year. But he has a 3-year-old son that was born while he was in Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
So little JJ Nelson knows that Daddy's at work. My sister's home with him. How do you tell a 3-year-old what's going on? You can't. So Daddy's at work. And they can communicate through Facebook. They can communicate through Skype, which is wonderful. But that's what I want to make a comment that day.
We have to mention, invite...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do that, please.
I want to make sure that the families realize they not only have to... Veterans Day is about the veterans, absolutely. But you know what? There's this huge group of people that don't always get thought of, and that's the military families. The people that are home supporting them.
Right.
Home supporting them.
But one of the reasons that we're going to be there...
Yes. I asked Bob, and he graciously agreed. You're going to be here with your show. On Veterans Day, after our ceremonies, the public can come up to the camera, just like this, and say, "Hi, I'm Terri Gonzales. I'd like to say hi, Tech Sergeant James Nelson. We love you. Be safe. See you when you get home." And you can say that to anyone. And for everyone out there, thank you for serving our country.
Yeah, thank you. Because that was one of the... I mean, obviously the ceremonies are really important for us to support and be there and to broadcast for Ivy Lawn.
Right.
But the fact that anybody who has a loved one or family members anywhere in the world, you can come to us and we'll provide the shout out, and you can let them know so that they're able to see you, and you can, they can see you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you did the spot with the moving wall,
Uh-huh.
I had it on my Facebook page, and he saw it.
Oh.
Where he was,
Oh.
to be nameless.
Yeah.
And that is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And so I know he can see it, and I've told him, spread the word.
Perfect. Well, Terri, we will see you on Thursday, Veterans Day. We will be there at 10:30 with our broadcast, and then also with the shout-outs for those loved ones on Veterans Day. And Terry's contact information has been showing on the screen while we've been chatting. There are also links between us with our web pages. And we want to thank you for taking the time to visit with us in studio and all the magnificent things that you do for our county. Terri Taylor, Gonzales, Ivy Lawn Memorial Park. When we come back, we've got Suze Montgomery coming in studio with us, and Kay Hodges. She has a nonprofit that she started called Letters to Home, and we'll let you know what that's about. You're watching Maria Sanchez on KADYTV.com.